Welcome to the call, everybody. It's Monday night, the night we gather just to share this incredible gift that we've got. I know that there's been an awful lot of people join us tonight. We literally have people calling in from coast to coast. You know, it's no wonder. Just since the word began to spread back several months ago, the beginning of March, 2016. It's just a few months now. You know, and over those just few months here, we've seen an incredible impact of people coming for what is going on here. So I just welcome all of you. And I know that for a lot of us, you know, we have our own reasons why we come, and I'm sure you have yours. For myself, my wife and I have known about Dr. Bill McAnalley for quite a number of years. And, it has truly made a huge difference. So, as I begin to introduce this tonight, there's just an awful lot to really share, but, we want to keep it to some degree direct and to the point here because we can get off on a lot of other things. So, when we begin to look at everything about Aroga Life and the gift that we're sharing, it really comes down to an understanding of how the body functions at a cell level. And so, a lot of people maybe look at what we have to offer and how it might address some of the concerns they have with their health. But it's truly designed for people that are healthy to understand how to, I guess no other way to say it is to just stay that way. Because when we look at the problems today where health is concerned, you don't have to look far to see that a lot of people have some serious concerns. And so, in this environment, in this world, with the problems with our food, the problems with, environment and everything else that goes on, we've just got to do the best we can. When it comes to taking care of your health, I guess there's two ways to look at it. And one is to wait until something goes wrong. I used to say I don't need to wear a seatbelt because, I don't have car accidents, and it's kind of ridiculous because, we know better. And yet sometimes when we look at our health, I think maybe we go about it the same way because we wait until we have a symptom and then we go for professional help and see what's wrong. And pretty soon sometimes the very treatments begin to damage systems and organs and other things. And pretty soon we start impacting the very part of life itself, and that's the human cell. And so when you really look at health or trying to maintain health, our idea is to take more of a proactive approach, begin to look at how we can support a human cell in its ability to function correctly, which inadvertently, naturally, will begin to produce healthy tissue and healthy organs and ultimately healthy systems that lead to a good, healthy body. So, when you look at the human body and trying to maintain health, there's just a stunning fact that we all know, and that is that the body heals itself. And it goes through a process called regeneration. I've been involved with, mechanics and, building cars and, fixing cars. And, those are machines and you can fix them and buy new parts. But the human body is similar in that it's a machine also. But, it has these built-in mechanisms that allow it to rebuild itself on a regular basis. You've got over 200 million cells or more, per minute regenerating, over 300 billion per day. Your intestinal tract, literally over the course of a few days, will begin to rebuild itself at the cell level. So, it's amazing what the human body can do. Your kidney, even Stanford University has produced a study that talks about how even in adults, your kidneys can regenerate through stem cell activity, stimulated by proper nutrition. And so what they're saying is if you just give the body, good food and proper nutrition, because that's what the body is designed to have, it allows it to do, what it was designed to do. The liver, over the course of, just less than 2 years, it'll completely rebuild itself. And we've heard stories where people have had transplants and people have donated portions of their liver only to see it repair itself and rebuild. And so, when we look at the miracle of the human body, it's just never ending. Scientists over the last decade have been spending billions of dollars looking at human cells and analyzing this regeneration and looking at how cells function internally. And they've been looking into areas referred to as cellular signaling pathways. Biochemists have discovered particular nutrients that support these pathways and also the food compounds by which these nutrients are found. And what they're discovering is that these signaling pathways and how they're designed and these nutrients that support them allow the body to support cells in just doing their DNA designed function. Well, in essence, doing what they're supposed to do. And so it might sound complicated, but it can, truly not be as complicated as we might think, because we really don't have to worry about all of that as long as we make sure we are getting those particular nutrients in on a regular basis. So, when we look at Aroga Life, I guess you could sum it up to say that we're about pathways. Not only, the research that has been done about how to support these cellular pathways, but also helping people discover a new pathway for themselves in many areas that might help them better their situation, whether it be in health or other areas they're looking to improve. But, overall, again, Aroga Life is about pathways. Tonight I've got a very special guest with me, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time just leading up to it because that's truly the point behind everything we're doing. A gentleman who spent, literally decades and decades of research through his inquisitive mind. Most researchers that reach his level actually become more closed-minded because, well, they just, through their genius ability and all, they just seem to get to where they know everything and pretty soon feel like they've known enough. But not Dr. Bill McAnalley. Dr. Bill McAnalley is a PhD. He's president and chief science officer and co-founder of Aroga Life. Dr. Bill McAnalley received a bachelor's of science in chemistry and math in 1968 from Angelo State University and a master's in natural science in 1973 from New Mexico Highlands University. He also received a PhD in pharmacology and toxicology in 1978 at the University of Texas Health Science Center in Dallas. He served as adjunct faculty at the University of Texas Health Science Center, Southwestern Medical School. He also worked for the United States Environmental Protection Agency, where he served as the regional toxicology expert for the U.S. District 6. While at the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. McAnalley evaluated hazardous waste sites, prepared scientific support for enforcement cases, and gave expert testimony on behalf of the United States government. Dr. McAnalley also served on the EPA's lead and dioxin committees. In addition, Dr. McAnalley served as research director for Prime Toxicology Laboratories that offered statewide rapid general drug screenings. He served as research director for Carrington Laboratories for, almost 20 years, and for literally over 10 years, actually, where he developed the first marketed hydro wound dressings. He based his technology on ace mannan, the active ingredient discovered in aloe vera when he was looking into what was so potent about that plant. A plant used for centuries in herbal management of wounds. And so, that curiosity led him to actually find the active component that everybody knew had to be there. To date, for more than 20 years, hydrogels have become commonplace around the world as an important standard of care for topical and oral wounds. In addition, he developed the Ace Mannan hydrogels and wound cleansers for humans and animals. Kerosene hydrogels and wound cleansers continue to be amongst the leaders in hydrogel technology. Also, while at Carrington, he developed a vaccine adjuvant to be used with the U.S. Department of Agriculture's antigen for Marek's disease. He developed the Ace Mannan immunostimulant for fibrosarcoma in cats and dogs and developed Manopol, a human immunostimulant. So, I got to tell you something. When you really begin to look into the history of Dr. Bill McAnalley, this is a gentleman who is well-versed, not only well-educated, but through his own research and involvement in so many areas has really seen in his, amongst his peers as truly an expert in his field. The future, for Dr. Bill McAnalley, I got to tell you, it looks like 2016 will be the milestone year because, with the launch of his patent-pending Arugalife products, for the first time after all the time that Dr. McAnalley has been involved in research and developing many components that have made such a difference in people's lives, to date he holds over 55 patents and multiple international patents. One individual, yes. And the fact is, when we really look at what he's done here, this is the first time he's been able to put his perfection together in a way that can benefit everybody. And he's able to do what he's wanted to do for the most part all of his life. And after almost a decade of research into a science called apoptosis, the natural process that occurs in the human body to eliminate unhealthy cells, supplements have been developed to allow those multicellular pathways I referred to a minute ago that support apoptosis and its ability to occur properly. These proprietary blends of whole plant nutrients are the only supplements of their kind, the ultimate research of Dr. McAnalley's passion for developing products that will truly help the body help itself. Each unique product addresses different pathways in the body to provide a systematic approach overall to put your body on a pathway toward better health. It's my honor tonight to have Dr. Bill McAnalley with us and let him share a little bit about, in his opinion, why he considers this to be the most important work that he has done so far. Dr. McAnalley, are you with me?
Yes, I'm here, Jeff. Thanks for a great introduction.
Thank you. And I'd just like to talk to these people for a little bit.
What's exciting is I've spent my whole life working and understanding how nutrition and, how pharmaceuticals work. And we, as scientists, first just knew what healthy people had. In other words, what was the amount of vitamin D, C that a healthy person had, and that was our recommended daily allowance. But this is a whole new step. This is something that we didn't even know existed when I went to medical school. For these pathways, it's amazing. If you go to Google or Yahoo and type in apoptosis pathways and just hit images, you will be amazing. It's the most amazing, complex system that each cell has to repair itself, and only when it can't repair itself does it go through digestion, broken down into the basic building blocks which are used to make new healthy cells. But many, many more cells are repaired than are broken down, and this is all new science. We're learning how, as scientists, we're learning how to use these pathways. And as it turns out, these pathways were put there by God to keep us healthy. And what we're learning is that it's the complex plants that we've consumed for a long time, a lot of the roots and tubers are like potatoes, and there are hundreds of types of potatoes that actually turn on apoptosis, because for decades and decades we didn't have refrigerators. And as you know, you can store potatoes and without refrigeration, and they'll last a long time. So we're learning that different foods that we used to eat turn on different pathways. And these pathways first repair the cells, and the food provides the nutrients needed to repair the cells. So it serves two functions. The food is actually able to turn on a pathway, and it's telling the cell that I also have the nutrients to repair you. This is the most amazing thing that I can imagine. I look at that and I'm awed at the mind of God. So I feel so fortunate to be able to make these products available. and we're the first company to do so. And with our patent protection, we should be the only one for about 20 years. So I'm really excited about what this means for our health and our possible financial aid too. So that's kind of my introduction there, Jeff.
You know, Dr. Bill, a lot of people that have experienced these products have been quite stunned, and we'll hear a little bit about that in a minute. But you know, I've had a few questions that have come to me, and people asking, you know, some of the obvious, I guess, but you know, what truly makes this so special? When sometimes people will look at the ingredients on the label and they've seen things on the shelf, and you know, just what makes this so special? And I know you're very particular on that because, you know, it's not just something you grow out in a controlled environment and throw together. And so what makes this different and just so special?
Well, we spent a long time looking at the different pathways that help keep us healthy. And what we found is that these different combinations work in several different directions to keep our cells healthy. In other words, God provided us with more than one pathway that can fix a cell. And so what we've done is we put together several different ingredients, and we've used freeze-dried ingredients. You can buy air-dried ingredients or just naturally dried ingredients. They lose a lot of their activity. These are freeze-dried just like the foods that survivalists use in the last 30 years. And we weren't able to fill them with normal filling procedures. We had to fill them by hand because in order to use the rapid machines, it has to flow through, like sand through an hourglass. And these are complex plants that contain hundreds of ingredients. And it's like a flour sifter, you can now envision salt or sugar flowing through an hourglass, but not flour. It'll stop. So we ended up having to fill them by hand. And I remember thinking, how am I going to explain this to people? And the New York Attorney General last year came out with his report that GNC, Target, Walmart, and Walgreens products were, some of them didn't have anything in them but filler, and they had a very small percentage of the ingredients that were on the label. So not only did I have trouble and had to fill it by hand, they were having trouble too, but they didn't go ahead and fill it by hand. So a lot of people think they've had these products, but they haven't. And that's why they're seeing such amazing results. And these are put together in such a way that they provide the effect that you would get if you were eating them straight from the ground.
That's truly what we're looking for because, you know, when it comes to spending money on products, I want what I'm paying for. And I guess what you're saying is you make sure that that's all that goes in that capsule. And how do you ensure that what shows up at the door as far as the raw ingredient, do you have some method to make sure that you're getting the best? I mean, do you have things in place for that? Or
yeah, we've developed our own methods. My first degree was in chemistry, and my son's degree is in chemistry. We have 4 people there with degrees in chemistry, and we're real good at chemical assays. So we developed our own assays so that whenever the raw material comes in, we analyze it. And I'm amazed at how many times we try to check a new supplier and the product's already adulterated before we get there. Of course, we send it back. And they've learned one thing: if you send us something that's not right, you'll get it back. So right now we have our own proprietary assay that we use to verify what we have. Of course, when we're audited by FDA, they're able to verify that it works and everything. So we're really excited. We've got control from cradle to grave.
That's great. Are there any concerns if people do have health challenges and maybe are going to a doctor and already taking medications, or maybe they're over-the-counter medications? And so, are there any concerns with any of that if a person,
Well, usually when I hear that question, I ask them, did the doctor tell you not to eat? Because these are foods that we have consumed, for thousands and thousands of years. So if the doctor told you not to eat anything, then you probably shouldn't take your supplements. But if you can eat food, this is food.
That's great.
So right now we haven't seen, with our thousands of people using it, we haven't seen any problems at all.
That's great. Well, last but not least, just a quick question. With everything that's here in these different products that are available that support these particular pathways, and I know the core of what we do is about apoptosis, and plus we've been able to position products in a way that they target given areas for people to start with their area of concern maybe. And so, but overall, what else do you feel at this time is necessary? A person should look at supplementing. We hear about vitamins and minerals and the omegas, et cetera. What would you feel is missing here?
Well, when people ask me that question, I recommend 4 things. One, you need a good vitamin mineral. And we've designed our own vitamin mineral, but to put it together, it's hard to compete against a large industry. Because you have to show now that every one of the ingredients are bioavailable. So if you go to like Costco, which Ben Carson, and he was on the board of directors, he's a Seventh-day Adventist, and he really made sure they had some good vitamin minerals for men, women, and children. That's something that FDA knows how to analyze and can analyze. So you need a good vitamin mineral supplement designed, for your sex. Men, women, and children need different ones. And I'd recommend, if you're eating pretty good, that you take half of the recommended daily allowance. The second thing is we know that there's a shortage of vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is the active form of vitamin D. And when people realize that too much sun could cause skin cancer, they go out with sunblock that doesn't allow them to produce their natural active vitamin D3. Plus, I know when I drive through my neighborhood, I swear there's no kids live anywhere, because I don't see them out on the street getting exposed to sun. They're inside, playing their computer games. So we've changed since the standard set for vitamin D, and I recommend, that you get a good vitamin D3 supplement. Then I take a good fish oil. I like the fish oil to come from the Scandinavian, around Norway and those countries, like Carlson's. They make a real good fish oil that has your omegas. And then I also take CoQ10. I take 200 to 400 milligrams of CoQ10. So those are the 4 I supplement with, in addition to our Aroga basic supplements. I don't think you can go wrong if you use those.
That's great. I know a lot of people have that question, and what else do we need? And so that kind of lays it out. And, before I let you go, Dr. McAnalley, I've got a couple of people on the phone with me, and they just like to share something with you. First, I've got Cheryl Crawford. Her and her husband, Peter, live in the Knoxville, Tennessee area. And, I had talked to Cheryl and asked her if she'd mind just sharing a little bit about her experience. And so, Cheryl, are you with me?
Yes, I'm here, Jeff.
Is there anything you wanted to say to Dr. Bill McAnalley tonight?
Yes. Hi, Dr. McAnalley.
Hello,
Well,
Cheryl.
I just wanted to tell you that, from what I hear, there's many people that have known about you for a very long time and all of the great things that you've done over the years, but I wasn't one of those people. And I've had a lot of growing health concerns in the last few years, and so when I heard about Aroga Life and you and all of the great things that you've done, I decided that I needed to try these products. So since I started taking the products, I've had just a ton of positive things happen for me, and I wanted to share those with you. I have a pretty technical job working in information technology, so being mentally sharp is really important to me, and my mental clarity has really increased since I've started these products. I've also had a lot of growing joint discomfort, especially in my knees and in my hands, and that now has gone away. I've had increased mobility, and I just feel so much better in my joints. I also suffer from hot flashes at my age, and Peter can justify that. At night, I'm always throwing the covers off over on him because I'm sweating off and on all night, and I'm not doing that anymore for the first time in years. Also, this is a little embarrassing to admit to everyone, but for the first time in my adult life, I'm having normal, regular daily bowel movements, and I haven't had that in years. I also have some spider bangs on my legs, and they're really starting to diminish. I can't see them like I used to, and I was totally shocked by that. And probably the thing that surprised me the most that I wasn't anticipating was, since I started taking these products, I've had a gradual weight loss, and it's about 11 pounds now, and my body just feels so much healthier, and it's craving such a healthier diet that it's just been amazing to see that happen without even really trying. So I just wanted to thank you for what you've done and how these products have really helped me. At this stage in my life, I know I'm getting older, but I actually feel like I'm getting better. And so I really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for sharing. This makes all my work worthwhile.
Yes, Cheryl, that was great. Thank you. Dr. Bill, a lot of people are finding out about you who have not known anything about you over the years, but a lot have known a lot about you and have been touched by you before. And I've got a good friend of mine, Mimi Curry, and her husband Mike. They live in the Fairfield, Iowa area, and Mimi's had her own challenges, and she was, fortunate to know you. And so, Mimi, are you with me?
Yes, Jeff, I am.
Is there anything that you'd like to say? Absolutely. Is there anything you'd like to say to Dr. Bill tonight?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you so much. Hey, Dr. McAnalley, I'm here with my husband, Mike, and we have been so blessed to have known about you for a number of years. And about 12 years ago, I was having some major health concerns, and someone shared with me some of the things that you had done, and all I can tell you is our lives changed for the better almost overnight. I made a couple notes because I thought I might be nervous. So long before we found out about you, I was taking a number of over-the-counter meds, which didn't really help much, and then started taking some of your products, and we started seeing vast improvements rapidly. We were able to replace a number of other things that we'd been using over-the-counter that really weren't working that well. And recently, about a year ago, things started getting more more difficult again for some reason, and it got to the point where I was using a cane and an electric scooter, and I was also seeing a physician and taking 1 or 2 meds, and then in January of this year, someone called and told us what you'd been doing. So we got really excited and said, we don't need to know anymore, just get us started. So we did. And by April, the end of April, things had changed drastically. I was no longer, like the previous lady said, no longer having hot flashes. My mental clarity had improved. My energy level had improved drastically. I no longer had massive discomfort. I was able to move about and walk unaided without any assistance. I was able to get to the bathroom by myself. I was able to take a shower by myself and dress myself, which I hadn't been able to do for a long time. There's just so many things, Dr. McAnalley, and I just can't thank you enough for the wisdom that you have gleaned from the Lord and that you have passed on to us, because you have given me my life back twice now, and you have given my husband his wife and his partner back and taken him out of the caregiving role. We are now partners again, and we can't thank you enough for that. And we so encourage you to continue with everything you've done, because you have blessed us. You have no idea. You've blessed us so much, and we thank you, Dr. McAnalley, and we love you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I just feel blessed that the Lord has chosen me to bring these products to the world.
Yeah, and he has. I mean, he picked a perfect person, because you do such an amazing job, and I love hearing you talk about things and how you feel that God's been guiding you, and it's just awesome. That's all I can. There just are no words, but no, my heart is just huge for you. So thank you.
I don't think we could allow people to leave on anything better than what you just heard. Truly the lives that are being changed, it's tremendous. And so for those of you that were able to hear this message tonight, there will be a replay up for actually 2 weeks, because next Monday night is July 4th. We will not have a call. And I just encourage you to celebrate this great country that we're in. And, when you think about that for a minute, think about what we have our hands on, this incredible gift. Think about some of the things that people in this country truly face today. And, where we look at health, it's one of the biggest issues on the debate. So, how are we going to solve the problem? And so, maybe you think, you couldn't make a big difference, but you'd be surprised, if you're able to share this with just a few people to begin to experience what you just heard tonight. I can tell you, we'll start making a difference in this country and ultimately around the world. So, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Dr. McAnalley, for all you've done and what you shared tonight. And thank you, Cheryl and Mimi, for what you shared with all of us. So good night, everybody, and may God bless you.
Good night.